Live from the KFOX 14 studios in El Paso and Las Cruces, it's the Emmy Award-winning KFOX 14 News at 9.
Nearly 300 people are presumed dead after Malaysian Airlines Flight 17 is blown out of the sky by a missile somewhere over eastern Ukraine. The latest in 4 minutes. But first, illegal immigrants boarding commercial flights at the El Paso airport, apparently without showing any photo ID as required by everyone else. Good evening, I'm Erica Castillo.
And I'm John Purvis. First on Fox tonight. The National Border Patrol Council, which is the union representing all Border Patrol agents, tells KFOX 14 not only have agents witnessed undocumented immigrants boarding flights without a photo ID, they've seen the immigrants escorted around security right past U.S. citizens. The union spoke exclusively to KFOX 14 News at 9's Bill Malugin, who joins us live from the airport in East El Paso to explain why agents say this is a major security concern. It's also a story you'll see only on KFOX 14.
Yeah, John, the Border Patrol Union tells me that just last week in Laredo, Texas, their border agents witnessed TSA allowing illegal immigrants to simply pass through security without showing any type of photo ID, and instead allowed them to show their I-862 notice to appear in court documents. Now, keep in mind, those documents don't have any type of photographs or identifying information on them. Now, just 2 days ago, the Border Patrol Union says their agents noticed the exact same thing happening right here at El Paso International Airport. For U.S. citizens, a trip to the airport includes showing ID, taking our shoes off, and going through security. But according to the Border Patrol Union Vice President Sean Moran, those same rules have not applied to some illegal immigrants at the El Paso airport.
We did receive reports that in El Paso, these illegal aliens were walked around security, much to the dismay of people, U.S. citizens that were standing in line waiting to be screened.
Those reports came directly from the Border Patrol agents they represent. Those agents say they also witnessed TSA allow illegals to show their I-862 notice to appear in court documents as their ID, and they're calling it a serious security risk.
These documents are easily reproduced on any type of copier or home computer. They bear no photographs, so there's really no way to verify that the person holding them is who they actually say they are.
That's a scary idea for travelers we spoke to.
It makes me a little concerned on the security front, not so much that it's illegal immigrants, it's just the fact that it's people getting on planes without any ID.
Getting through security without a boarding pass, something's going to happen. I don't think it's good at all.
A TSA spokesperson denies the allegations, simply telling us, quote, "A notice to appear is not an acceptable form of primary ID at the TSA checkpoint," end quote. But the Border Patrol Union says the TSA is just trying to backtrack.
I don't think they're telling the truth. Our agents are sworn law enforcement officers and have said that they are willing to go on the record, testify before Congress if we need to, or before any type of investigation, that they saw this occurring. And I think TSA is trying to sweep this under the rug because they realize they made a great mistake.
Now, the Border Patrol Union tells me that they don't know exactly who's paying for the flights of these illegal immigrants, whether it's the immigrants themselves or the federal government, but they're just concerned that somebody is going to try to exploit our travel system by impersonating somebody to be somebody that they actually aren't without any of these photo ID checks that the rest of normal citizens have. And they wanted to reiterate one last time, again, they are willing to testify under oath before Congress as to what their agents saw, no matter what they say the TSA says in denial. Reporting live in East El Paso, Bill Malugin, KFOX 14, News at 9.
And these undocumented immigrants are coming to the U.S., bringing health risks with them. The National Border Patrol Council says as of yesterday, more than 150 immigrants have been admitted to hospitals in El Paso with various illnesses. These include chickenpox and scabies. They say more than 40 agents have filled out forms saying they believe they may have been susceptible to some sort of disease, and confirmed that 2 agents have been treated for scabies. A recent El Paso Intelligence Center report contradicts suggestions that violence is what's bringing Central American families to the United States. The report shows that information being put out by human traffickers is what is really to blame. The report shows there is a misconception in Central America about the immigration policy here, and it's being fueled by these smugglers and the Central American media. Our media partners, the El Paso Times, report that families are led to believe that children traveling alone will be allowed to stay in the U.S.
Both the U.S. and Ukrainian governments confirm it was a missile that brought down Malaysia Airlines Flight 17. The Boeing 777 was shot down in an area of eastern Ukraine controlled by pro-Russian separatists near the Russian border. 283 passengers and 15 crew members are all presumed dead. U.S. officials have not yet confirmed how many Americans are among the dead.
The families need consolation and our prayers, and there are many questions need to be answered. And we'll get those answers, and we will take the next steps accordingly.
The U.S. military is now helping to determine who exactly fired the deadly missile and from where. Ukraine's president calls the disaster a terrorist attack, and the Federal Aviation Administration says U.S. airlines have all voluntarily stopped flying through the region as a precaution. This tragedy only intensifies the tensions that already exist between the U.S. and Russia over disputed territory in Ukraine, so we decided to go to a UTEP political science professor to learn more about the possible international implications of this apparent shoot-down. KVOX 14 News at 9's Gina Benitez joins us live with that part of the story.
Dr. Charles Bomer tells me he doesn't see the United States getting involved in the conflict, but says it could mean an escalation of the conflict in the region if those who shot the plane down thought it was a military aircraft.
If it is the Ukrainians, the indigenous Russians within Ukraine, or the Russians, then that could be seen as an escalation.
Close to 300 people thought to be dead after Malaysia Airlines Flight 17 went down in Ukraine. Officials now confirming it was shot down.
Definitely would not be easily brought down by a surface-to-air missile fired from a shoulder. So that would require a larger missile with more fuel that can track higher and longer in the air.
Even if it's confirmed Americans were on the downed plane, Dr. Charles Bomer, associate professor of political science at UTEP, says he doesn't see the United States getting involved.
They would be actually in a war zone in that sense, and so I don't think that the United States would take any kind of issue with that because it's not an American airliner. It wasn't something where Americans were intentionally targeted.
Though Bomer believes it could be a terrorist attack,
it could be a mistake. There are examples of this where the United States shot down an Iranian airliner in the Persian Gulf when the United States was escorting Iraqi oil tankers during the Iraq-Iran war.
Whatever the reason, he says he doesn't see a quick or clean resolution to the conflict.
I see a lack of easy way to end it without angering Russia or without Russia backing out of the situation.
Bomer says the Ukrainians may have some of the missiles powerful enough to take down this plane from the Soviet days, and the Russians definitely have them as well. Reporting live in the studio, Gina Benitez, KFOX 14 News at 9.
We have continuing coverage on the code enforcement officer who was hit by a car while on the job 2 weeks ago. The Environmental Services Department says Robert Nato died this morning from the injuries he sustained in that accident. Police have arrested this man, Rosendo Alvarado, in connection with Nato's death. Investigators say Alvarado drove his car onto a curb and hit Nato's truck on July 3rd. Nato was issuing a citation in the lower valley at the time. Alvarado allegedly hit him, then took off. Police later found and arrested him. An accident in Hudspeth County causes a truck to roll over, sending one man to the hospital. Police say the crash happened early this morning on Interstate 10 near the Sierra Blanca Border Patrol checkpoint. Dispatchers tell KFOX 14 the driver was towing another vehicle when it lost control and rolled.
El Paso police search for a woman they say used a stolen credit card. Officers say a man reported leaving his wallet at a Whataburger restaurant on Wrestler Road. After checking credit card statements, investigators found this woman in surveillance images use the credit card at a Valero convenience store on the west side 2 times within a 3-hour span. If you have any information on this woman or her whereabouts, call El Paso Crime Stoppers at 566-8477. Las Cruces police arrest 2 ex-felons after they allegedly used a stolen shotgun to threaten 2 men at a local motel. Investigators say Robert Sprague and Thomas Boyer threatened the men with the gun at the Bruce Motel on Main Street during an argument. Both suspects then allegedly fled, but police later caught and arrested them on various charges, including aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Juarez police arrest a man they say they suspect of killing 4 people. KFOX 14's media partner, the El Paso Times, reports police arrested Jose Silva and 2 others after they allegedly robbed a seafood restaurant. Investigators say they link Silva to other restaurant robberies as well, in addition to the murders of 4 people, including a 16-year-old boy.
El Paso's first toll lanes are starting to bring in the cash, but it could take months to collect some payments from drivers traveling the Cesar Chavez Border Highway. KFOX 14 News at 9 Stacey Wells shows us why there's a push to get more drivers to use toll tags.
The border highway's toll lanes have collected more than $40,000 so far, but more money is expected to come in from drivers who choose to pay by mail. While drivers have to pay more for that option,
you've got to figure out who owns that plate, who the registered owner is. You've got to print up a paper tag. You've got to mail it to them. There's all that additional cost associated with it.
Higher costs to process payments by mail have the Camino Real Regional Mobility Authority pushing toll tag accounts.
This is just another alternative, another way to make it easier for the folks that are using this facility to save money and use the toll tag as opposed to paying double with the pay-by-mail option.
Drivers have used toll tags on the border highway's toll lanes nearly 40,000 times, but that's compared to about 115,000 pay-by-mail transactions so far. Some drivers say they don't plan on using the toll road.
It's the same speed on the toll lane that on the other regular lane, so I don't see the point of it at all.
But others say using a toll tag could speed up their rush hour.
I have to get to and from like you and everybody else. And unfortunately, El Paso's growing very fast, and we all have a propensity to run late.
Taya says to boost toll tag use, they could soon be available in some convenience stores around town.
You slap it on your windshield and you call the number to activate it and sign up and create the account. So it's almost an expedited way to get your tag on your vehicle and get up and running.
Stacey Welsh, KFOX 14 News at 9.
And since the toll lanes opened, Thea says there was a spike in drivers using them in April, but use is expected to decrease in the summer when school is out. And the Camino Real Regional Mobility Authority says it has just 3 more steps to take before the El Paso bike share program can be up and running. The first is to get a signed funding agreement with TxDOT. The second is then to get federal approval. And lastly, the regional authority says it will sign a vendor agreement with B-Cycle, a vendor they say they chose for a very specific reason.
B-Cycle is really important to us because they have most of the bike share programs throughout the rest of the major cities in the state of Texas. So that means once you become a member here in El Paso of El Paso Bike Share through B-Cycle, you're part of that B-Cycle family.
The regional authority says the bike share locations will most likely be in downtown El Paso.
Same song, different key. Chief Meteorologist Sandra Diaz is in our KFOX 14 Severe Weather Center to let us know what we're looking at tonight.
Well, you know, tonight we do have some storms that are popping up again in some areas. In fact, let's go straight to our KFOX early warning storm track Doppler. And as you can see, these are hit or miss showers, but we have seen some heavy rain already in areas like Socorro and Fabens, but that is continuing to push south of you for right now. However, just to the east in Hudspeth County, we have a flash flood warning here that does not include Sierra Blanca, but you are still getting some heavy rains in Sierra Blanca. But north of us, we also have storms rolling through Alamogordo with a lot of lightning and a flash advisory right now for this area, which includes Mescalero, Alamogordo, and Cloudcroft. Now, we have a 20% chance for some rain tonight, both in El Paso and Las Cruces, with temperatures cooling to the 70s. The rain chances we'll have for your Friday is still ahead.
The monsoon season can bring a lightning show to the El Paso skies here and there, but it can also be dangerous if you get too close. The places you need to avoid when you see lightning and hear thunder.
El Paso County leaders are looking to make some major changes. The reason they're looking at reorganizing county government.
And Doña Ana Community College's nursing program lost its accreditation in 2012. How the new president plans on getting it back. Next on KFOX 14 News at 9, coverage you can count on.